birth of mathematics, a story from the ancient world. In the vast plains of Africa, under the golden glow of a setting sun, a young hunter named Zaru sat by the fire, staring at a long bone covered in strange notches. It was not just any bone. It was his father's prized possession, passed down for generations. Each notch, his father had once told him, was a mark of the days, the hunts, and the changing of the moon. Zaru was curious. "Why do we carve these lines, father?" he had asked as a boy. "To remember," his father replied. "To count our food, our spears, and the days before the rains return." Little did Zaru know, his tribe was unknowingly laying the foundation for what the world would one day call mathematics, the dawn of numbers. Far away, in a different part of the world, a young Sumerian farmer named Enki was having trouble with his land. Every year, the great Euphrates River flooded, washing away the boundaries between his fields and his neighbors. Disputes over land ownership became common. One day, the village elder, a wise man who had studied the clay tablets of the gods, suggested a solution. He took a reed and pressed symbols into wet clay, circles for full measures of grain, lines for halves, and wedges for smaller portions. This, he claimed, would help keep track of trade and land. Enki marveled at the system. By marking numbers in clay, disputes could be settled fairly. The Sumerians had created one of the world's first written number systems, asterisk, asterisk, cuneiform numerals, asterisk, asterisk, which would become the backbone of commerce and governance in Mesopotamia. Hashtag, hashtag, hashtag the stars in the pharaoh's problem. Centuries passed, and in the land of Egypt, a young apprentice named Menka stood nervously before the grand pharaoh's architect. The pharaoh had commanded the building of a new pyramid, but something was wrong. Previous structures had crumbled when built too steep, and the stone blocks refused to align perfectly. The architect handed Menka a rope with evenly spaced knots. "Watch the stars, measure the land, and use this rope to find the right angles," he said. Menka did as he was told. By stretching the rope in a 3-4-5 triangle, he discovered that it always formed a perfect right angle. With this knowledge, the pyramid was built with precision, standing strong for centuries. This simple yet powerful discovery, geometry, would be refined by the Greeks many years later. The Greek thinkers and the birth of theorems. One day, in the bustling city of Athens, a young student named Demetrius sat under a tree, scribbling numbers in the dirt. He had heard a man named Pythagoras, who claimed that numbers were the key to understanding the universe. Intrigued, Demetrius joined the secretive school of Pythagoreans, where he learned that numbers were not just tools but held deep mystical meanings. The Pythagoreans discovered patterns in music, architecture, and the stars, developing ideas that would shape mathematics for centuries. Then came Euclid, the great mathematician, who collected all the knowledge of geometry into a single work, The Elements. His book became a guide for builders, astronomers, and scholars for over 1,000 years. From counting to infinity, mathematics did not stop with the Greeks. In distant India, a boy named Arya sat with his teacher, puzzled by the idea of nothingness. "How can we write the absence of something?" he asked. His teacher drew a small dot and said, "This is 0, the number that means nothing, but without it, we cannot count properly." This simple idea, later refined by Indian scholars like Brahmagupta, revolutionized mathematics. It traveled across the world, reaching the Islamic Golden Age, where scholars like Al-Khwarizmi developed algebra, forever changing trade, navigation, and science. Mathematics, the language of a universe. From the tally marks of Zaru to the grand equations of modern scientists, mathematics has shaped human civilization in ways few could have imagined. What began as simple counting has evolved into a language that explains the universe, from the motion of planets to the secrets of the quantum world. And so, the journey of mathematics continues, with each generation discovering new wonders, building upon the knowledge of those who came before. Who knows, maybe you, like young Zaru, Enki, or Demetrius, will one day leave a mark in the story of mathematics.